AI is silently killing most of the service-based businesses out there. If you ask this question to yourself, just 5 or 10 years ago, it was way easier to acquire a client from scratch compared to it is now. And this is not just due to more competitors in the market, but this is more because your competitors are fundamentally changing the way how they work. Their offer, their business model, their fulfillment process, they're adapting AI in their day-to-day workflows and getting way more efficient than you. And if you don't adapt to this new model, your business will gradually die. See, we are living in a trust deficit economy where building trust has become way harder than ever. With a bad offer, all your outreach and advertisement campaigns are going to flop. So in this video, we'll be talking about all of that, and more we'll be focusing on the offer side of the things. So the way how businesses provide value right now in 2026 is changing really fast, especially with these vibe coding tools and other AI and automation tools. It's becoming easier and easier to complete skill-based tasks without knowing that skill. I'm just talking about basic tasks, not even basic tasks. For example, if I wanted to create a website, I can literally create a website without knowing any programming languages. The barrier for a non-skilled person to complete a technical task without knowing that skill is reducing exponentially. It's not just about tech stuff, it's about everything, right? It's also about like creating ads. You can use these tools like Manus.ai or Cloudboard to literally create ad campaigns for you, and you don't need a media buyer. But regardless of that, you'll still need a media buyer, and I'll tell you the reason why. So I've been seeing more and more, especially legacy based businesses who are very traditional, their mindset is very old school, they're declining right now. These businesses used to get most of their clients through word of mouth, that means referrals or intros, or trade shows, because they are not changing and they are not adapting to how the new world economy works right now. I'll explain you in this way. So 20 years ago, or maybe you can say some decades ago, mostly companies were working on hourly basis. I'm just talking about service based firms right now. So let's take an example of IT firms. This was the era when IT sector boomed, right? So the only way to scale was constantly hiring more people and then charging for more services. But then eventually people realized that this is probably not the best way, and technology also advanced to some extent that people started working on retainers and project basis instead of hourly basis. And that's when the new era came where a lot of other service based businesses arise, and this is also going on right now. You'll see most of the agencies out there, they work on project basis or retainers. I still see some of the freelancers and agency working on hourly basis. However, I think it's the end of that era, and soon it's going to be completely zero. However, most of the agencies, freelancers, and other types of businesses, they are working on these models, and we are going towards the new era, which is working on performance basis. And the reason why businesses who are shifting towards performance based model, and they're realizing that the shift is near, and probably if they don't change right now, then they will also decline, right? Just like a lot of other businesses declines if they don't adapt to the new technologies and how differently the economy is working now. If you're someone who just works on some kind of project basis or some sort of deliverable focused work which is not tied to the actual performance that the client is getting by investing in your services, then you need to really change. It's literally the high time to change how you work. In this era, more than your offer, what matters is how you position your offer, and that's also a part of your offer, but it is a subset. But the positioning of your offer is literally the most important when you are talking about the marketing. So having an offer is one thing, and how you market that offer is another thing. If your offer is slightly average, but the way you market it, but if you market it in a really good manner without making it look misleading, then you might win. So what's working right now is, instead of offering a solution, offer results. Yes, that's what working. Because if you're offering a solution, creating a solution is more than easier than ever. Your skill is replaceable using AI and automation tool. No matter how much enterprise selling you're doing, it is replaceable. Because all these tools like Cursor, Cloud Code, these are enterprise level tools. These are built for bigger businesses to solve biggest problems. So instead of saying, so it's just an example, instead of saying, I build animated websites that looks great, say that I'll help increase CVR, that's conversion rate in your website, by 2 to 3x by optimizing your website and improving UI and UX. This offer is way better compared to your this offer. However, I won't say if you say this in your let's say in your outreach campaign or in your ad campaigns, you'll win. I won't say that, because this is your fundamental offer, but the way how you position this thing is totally different, right? This might work really well 5 years ago, but right now, when there's a lot of different people having some kind of similar offer, there's trust deficit, right? So even if you say that, hey, I'll help you increase your CVR by XYZ, people won't trust you. So you need to be really, really good on how you position this specific offer and how you're building trust with your other content, how you're providing value to them, how you are highlighting your case studies and explaining it to them. Because now anyone can build an animated website, right? I have personally built a lot of animated websites for my clients, and it just takes a few like less than an hour, to be honest. It took me like less than 30 minutes to build an animated website and deploy it. But that means your prospects probably cannot improve the CVR without having the knowledge and without having the experience of increasing the CVR. That means your conversion rate of that website, how much actual revenue it is able to convert. That's actually what matters. Building a website is just a deliverable, it's just a journey, but the outcome is actually increasing the revenue. And if you can deliver that revenue, if you're so good with your work that you not only just build a website, but you also help them to increase the performance of their website, that's what matters to your prospects. And suddenly you go from a $200, $500 service provider to a $5,000, $10,000 service provider. So it's high time to change your entire fulfillment model if you're still working on outdated models. And if you don't do it now, you will gradually decline, because other companies are catching up in your industry and have already started working on this model. There are very few industries who are actually way ahead in this, especially in this lead generation space. A lot of other businesses have started working on pay-per-close basis or revenue share basis. And even in general marketing space, a lot of companies work in that way. However, in a lot of other industries, for example, IT and other professional services, people are still not working in that model. And that's really a big opportunity that you can grab right now. So in this video, we'll be talking about offer, how to craft your offer, no matter in which industry you are. I'll be giving you a blueprint of crafting the offer, especially in Alex Hormozi model. And I'll be giving real life examples that how I have built offers for my own clients in different industries. I'm not just talking about lead generation or marketing. I'll also talk about IT and these complex industries like staffing. So let's first talk about what an offer is. An offer can be combined by these three elements. First is desired outcome. So what's the outcome that your service actually provides? And then what's the unique mechanism? So how do you get to that outcome? For example, let's say for my service, which is outbound, let's say the end outcome is generating leads, generating bookings, right? But the unique mechanism for me is outbound. So that's exactly how I generate these leads. And the third component is the risk reversal. Now, this is optional, or I would say this was optional a few years ago, but now as more and more companies are using these risk reversal guarantees in their offer, it is high time than ever to start adopting that in your model and still attract high paying clients. So essentially the goal is to improve your offer by increasing the perceived value of getting your clients the outcome they want with minimum risk on their shoulder. So this is the element which a lot of people don't understand. They think that, hey, I'll promise XYZ outcome and I won't give any money back guarantee or anything like that. However, more than that, what matters is if your prospect can think, can you deliver that outcome or not? If they think that yes, you can deliver that outcome, then yes, you won. But if your offer is positioned in a way and your marketing, content and all the other stuffs are in a way that doesn't tell or doesn't persuade prospect about how they perceive your outcome and the value of your services, in that case, your offer is bad. So you need to position your offer in a way that the perceived value in the mind of your prospects is really high. They are really thinking that hey, you can literally deliver them results. And for increasing that perceived value, you can do a lot of different stuff. Like you need to be really strong on the marketing game, you need to be really strong on your case studies, and you need to be really strong on your overall offer, which is the desired outcome you promise, the exact unique mechanism, and then the risk reversal. Now, risk reversal is not just money back guarantees or something like that. And I'll give you a lot of examples of this in the video. You can literally use risk reversals without having any risk on your revenue. There are a lot of ways how you can do it. And if you can figure out a risk reversal which is winning for you, that means there's not actual risk on your end of refunding any money, and it is also making your offer look really good, and the perceived value is also increasing because you're giving some kind of risk reversal, some kind of guarantee, not just the money back, but there are a lot of different risk reversals which I'll give you later. That will actually help your clients to trust you and work with you. Now we're going to talk about 4 tangible ways to strengthen your offer. This is the Alex Hormozi model. He covers these 3 things. However, I think there's more to it. I have found out 4 tangible ways on how you can actually strengthen your offer, especially in this era, especially in 2026. Now, the first component here is work on performance basis. Now, first, let me clarify the biggest conception and biggest myth that a lot of people have, which is if I'm working on performance basis, I cannot charge upfront. That's literally the biggest myth. Yes, you can literally charge upfront even though you're working on performance basis. And that's exactly what I was saying when I was talking about risk reversals, not being risk on your end and not being risk on your prospects end either. It's a win-win situation. It's how you position and how you play with the structure. This is literally about tying your compensation to the results you deliver. That doesn't mean that you cannot charge upfront. That still means that you can still charge upfront, you can still charge retainer. However, the wordings and the reasoning that we give them of what this retainer is about is totally different. And trust me, if you just change a few words of how you position those retainers, instead of saying that hey, we are doing this is an agency fee or something, instead of that, if you can actually charge it as a tool cost or something like that, and it should actually be a tool cost or your team's cost, which is an expense to you, and regardless of them investing in your services, if they wanted to build your entire service themselves and in-house, they would still need to invest that, right? And that is actually their cost as well. So that's kind of like a fixed cost, that's kind of like a infrastructure cost. So why don't you position your retainers as actual tech stack? Reduce it. I'm not saying that hey, we are misleading the client. Listen, this is a really sensitive matter, and I want you to like focus with all your attention. We are not misleading the client, we are telling them the reality. We are telling them that hey, the money that you're investing, the upfront payment, is just the infrastructure cost. And be transparent, tell them that hey, these are all the tools that we'll be spending on. And let's say if you were charging $5,000 upfront earlier, now you can just charge around $2,000 or $3,000 upfront on retainer basis or something like that, based on how you work, to still cover all that expenses that you have while having zero profit upfront, but having profit at the end of the month or after 2 months once you actually deliver outcome to your clients. This is literally what's winning right now. If you're thinking that hey, I want all the money upfront regardless of whether the client gets result or not for any reason, and I won't doubt you, because even I have seen that the result doesn't really depend on your service or how you deliver the work, but the results also depend on a lot of other factors. I'll give you an example. In my industry, whenever I'm working with someone, let's say if I'm working on pay per close basis, that means if they close a client using outbound from my service, then only I get paid. I'm getting paid from the tech stack and all our tool cost and all of that, but my actual profit comes from when you close a client. Closing a client depends on a lot of factors which are not in my control. For example, your marketing, your other marketing spends that you're doing, your case studies, and your sales rep, how they are dealing with objections in your actual calls. It depends on all those factors which are actually not in my control. So does that mean that I should stop working on that model? No, it's completely no. It means that I need to work with only those types of clients whose actual marketing, whose actual sales reps and closing rates are good. And this is what most businesses miss, which is creating an ICP. So you just need to work with those businesses who you can deliver for. If you don't have an ICP yet, just go to your last 10 case studies and see what's the common pattern in them. Whether there was a common team pattern that they had, whether there was a common revenue pattern that those businesses had, were they all from a similar industry or something? Just think about that and find out common observations, and then just try to work with those types of businesses who you were successful with before, because in that case you will be really confident that you will be able to give them results. And these are the only types of businesses who have all those external factors which are influencing the result of your service. So just work with those types of businesses who have all those external factors taken care in a good manner, all those external factors that influences the end outcome of your service. And that's how you'll ensure that you are actually getting paid. And this is the only way how you can charge way more compared to your earlier project basis work or earlier retainer works. You can literally charge commissions or percentage, and that's literally one of the best way to build leverage and actually make way more money compared to those other traditional models. So the first one was work on performance basis. That means tie your compensation to the results you deliver while charging the upfront or the retainer. But the way you position it is completely different now, and not the hours you work for or deliverables you produce. Please don't work with deliverables. You can use deliverables as a secondary value that you provide to your clients, but the main thing that you should lead with your offer, but the main component that you lead in your offer, in your sales calls, should be the desired outcome that your prospect wants. The second thing, which is maximize the deliverables. So as I told you, the first component is the outcome, and that's the most important component of the offer. The second component is deliverables, what they're getting. They're obviously getting the outcome, but along with that, what are we giving them? So maximize the deliverables that they get. Make clients feel that they are receiving far more than they have expected. I'll give you real life examples just of mine. Earlier, I was just providing LinkedIn and email outreach services, but then when I gradually realized that I need to make my offer way more stronger, then I added way more deliverables on it. For example, for a lot of my clients who were relatively bigger businesses who had some sort of sales team, they wanted knowledge as well. They wanted to build this in-house at some point of time. So I also started providing them a 45 plus hours of course of mine completely for free. Along with that, I used to provide them a lot of other types of services as well. Not just outreach, I'll help them build the entire revenue engine from scratch. The VSL landing page, the lead magnets, the sales workflows, the reply agents, a client dashboard, and a lot of different things that they would rather need. The third component is minimize time to first value. So you need to minimize the time they start getting some tangible performance working with you, and quick wins build trust really fast. For example, if you're saying that, hey, we'll help you get XYZ result in just 3 months or in just 6 months, then your offer is quite weak. And the reason for that is 3 months or 6 months is a long period. There are a lot of industries where the deliverables takes a lot of time, and I totally agree there. However, you don't need to lead with those deliverables or those outcomes. I would rather say lead with relatively smaller outcome, which is achievable in just 30 days or in just 15 days. That will help you to minimize time so that you can give them the first value. That will increase the perceived value in your prospect's mind about your services. And the fourth component, which is probably the least important compared to all of them, however, it is still important. It is minimize the amount of efforts and time that your clients or prospects invest to get value out of you. If you're asking them 30 hours of their time every single month, then you're asking too much. So try to make it seamless for them. and make it nearly effortless for them so that you can work alongside with their business and provide them value. Now, the next thing, which is making your offer more stronger. So you can focus on all these four. However, I said that offer is the most important thing when you are selling your service, but it is not the only important thing. You need to remember that. The another important thing, or maybe just after offer, it comes how you market it and how good your funnel is. Most businesses out there, let's be honest, most businesses out there don't have a funnel. You need to have a really good top of the funnel channels to get leads, and then good middle of the funnel or content funnels to actually convert them and build trust with them. Most businesses don't have either of these, and some businesses do have some sort of top of the funnel channels, like they are running ads or they are doing outreach. However, they don't have a middle or content funnel, and this is what most businesses miss, and that's exactly why you're not able to build trust with your prospects. So first, talking about the top of the funnel channels, you need to build channels which bring cold leads to your ecosystem, so you always have fresh pipeline of potential clients discovering your offer. And when we are talking about top of the funnel channels, you don't just need to target your ICP. That's the biggest misconception, not the biggest, but it's one of the biggest misconception that people have whenever they are just doing content or running ads. If you just laser focus your organic content just on the people who can buy your service, your content probably will not reach to those people. A better way is just to make it for a relatively wider audience, so people who can not afford your services, however, they can get value out of you, and these are the people who will be helping your content to get more engagement. And once you get these cold leads in your ecosystem, you run paid ads or you run a lot of content campaigns to build trust with them, and eventually they will be nurtured and book a call with you. And if you're doing outbound, just like I do a lot, personalized lead magnets are your biggest friend, and they're literally one of the best ways to build trust at short amount of time. If you're only relying on content, then the sales funnel will be relatively longer. But if you're using outbound and you're combining personalized lead magnets with them, then your sales funnels will be relatively shorter, even in harder and industries which are known to have longer sales cycles. So I try to use them all the time in sophisticated niches with my outbound campaigns. By sophisticated niches, I mean those niches which are relatively saturated. There's a lot of competitors and a lot of players in that market, and all of them are doing outreach campaigns or some sort of advertisement campaigns, and your prospects are literally overwhelmed by all the different competitors who are reaching out to them at the same time every single day, and all they care about is if they trust someone or not. So let's take 5 real life examples, and I'll create offer for them completely from scratch using the framework that I've mentioned. These are the 4 frameworks. First one is work on performance basis, then maximize the deliverables, minimize time to first value, and then minimize the client effort. The first one is IT, cybersecurity, and compliance agencies. I have chosen relatively harder industries because most of the people who books call with me, they are from different types of industries, and they're always saying that, hey, you have cracked this in this certain type of industry. However, my industry is way different, and your offer and your framework probably don't work here, and they're wrong. It does work, but they just don't know how to implement. So that's why in this video I have chosen relatively harder industries where outbound is relatively tougher, but it is still possible. So going to IT, cybersecurity, and compliance agency, which is MSSP offer mapping, what was the old model which most of the agencies have? They typically say that, hey, we provide 24/7 network monitoring and cybersecurity solutions for mid-market businesses. And this offer is really poor. This is pure demand capture. Every MSSP say this, and there's zero differentiation. Even though you add some elements of differentiation here, which you think are a differentiation. For example, hey, we are cheap, we are affordable, and we provide 24/7 services or something like that. You can add all those differentiations which you think are differentiation, but they are actually not a differentiation, because everyone are saying that now. You need to have an actual differentiation, and this is how you craft offers. You can say something like this: we help SaaS companies with 50 to 500 employees achieve SOC 2 Type 2 compliance within 90 days, guaranteed, or you don't pay. We manage your entire security posture end to end, so your team spends 0 hours on it. This is the front end offer. And by front end offer, I mean that this is how you position your offer initially to attract a lot of leads and build trust with them. And once you get on a sales call with them, you tell them the whole picture. You give them the entire model of how you work. And the way how you work is, so what you can do in month 1 to 3, you can charge upfront. You can say something like, hey, we do 2 month, hey, we do $2,000 per month retainer, and this mostly covers all the tool cost. And then the success fee, which is the main fee, it is $5,000 when you get SOC 2 certifications. And this is literally what I mean by the working on performance basis, and by tying your compensation to the results you deliver. So when your clients actually receive the SOC 2 certification, then you charge a big chunk of your fee. And before that, before the last 3 months, you were just charging a smaller retainer which was covering all your expenses, and you're getting your main fee after 3 months, and you're getting your main fee after 3 months. And the guarantee here is full refund of retainer if audit fails due to their error. And the good part of creating guarantees, which a lot of people don't know, because they fear that, hey, I would need to refund or XYZ. You ever don't need to refund, because I have worked with a lot of businesses implementing this same or similar performance based model, and the refund rates were like less than 5%. Personally, I also work in a similar model, and I never refund because I don't need to. Because like there are two ways how you can minimize the refund rate to almost zero. First way is just work with companies who you actually deliver and who are proven to get results. Second is have lots and lots of terms and conditions in your actual guarantee agreements. I'll give you an actual example of mine. Let's say like a few years ago, I was actually working on guaranteeing the results on my cold email service, and saying that, hey, I'll just provide you, or you'll at least close $10,000 or $20,000 in just 2 months of working with me. And if you don't close this much, then I'll refund all the money. That's what I used to do. And in that case, what I used to do is to eliminate all the other external factors which might make the entire thing go wrong. And in my contract, I used to eliminate all those external factors which might make the results not getting achieved. So what are the external factors that influences a closing, right? First is, let's say if their closing rate of actual calls is less than 30%. So I would say that, hey, if your closing rate of your like sales calls is less than 30%, in that case, you're not eligible for the guarantee. And that would make sense to the prospects as well, because see, when they realize that, hey, like these are external factors that the service provider don't have influence on, they will realize and they will actually move ahead with you. What actually matters when you're giving these guarantees are the confidence in yourself. It doesn't really matter whether you'll refund money or not. Definitely it matters, but it depends on how you position and what type of business you work with. If actual funnel is really good, if your trust building is good, and if you're providing some sort of guarantees with a lot of terms and conditions, but you are confident in the results, and you're just eliminating the external factors in your contract, because it's unfair for you to be treated in a bad way and to not get paid just because the client messes up on their end. That is unfair, right? And you're just eliminating that, and it's not a bad thing, it's totally fine, but a lot of people don't do it. So those were really important two ways how you can eliminate your risk of not getting paid at the end of the service delivery if you're working on this type of model, which you totally should. So the success fee is really important. That's where your most of the profit is going to come. The guarantee is full refund of retainer if audit fails due to their error, and total investment is 11 grands versus industry average, which is 40 grands to 80 grands for traditional consultants. So this is how we position the entire thing. Pillar 1 is performance basis. Pillar 2 is maximize the deliverables. So you'll provide a lot of things. You'll in your proposals and all those other things, you'll mention all these things. You'll do full gap analysis, policy documentation, vendor risk management, employee security training, automated monitoring through vendor data, and audit prep calls. And clients feel that they're getting an entire security department. Client don't feel like, hey, this is another agency, a cybersecurity firm who are just helping us getting SOC 2 certification, but you're actually giving them long-term assets that they can use in future. And this is what is making your overall offer looks really strong. The third pillar, which is minimize time to first value. So here's what you'll say, like in week 1 we'll do complete full assessment and we'll deliver that. In week 2 you'll get automated compliance monitoring live, and in week 4 the first evidence of collection will begin, and client sees actual tangible progress within 7 days and not 3 months, because the problem with this industry is that it moves slow, right? And even in my industry, the ROI takes time. You won't get ROI in the first month, right? But what I say is that if you're working with me, you'll start seeing ROI from like in the next 60 days or something, or maybe 45 days. So that's how I reduce I minimize time to first value. And that's true because I only work with people I can deliver results to. And in order to ensure that I have certain ICPs that I work with, I qualify people on sales calls and all of that. And that's how even I am able to commit these numbers, that minimizing time to first value, you'll get ROI in just like, let's say 45 days or at max 60 days. That's how it works. And fourth pillar is minimize client effort. So using tools like Vanta, Make.com automations, 90% of evidence collection is automated. So the client literally does nothing except approve a few policies, and the engineers never get pulled away from the product. This is a really good example of how you build an entire offer model for an IT, cybersecurity, and compliance agencies. Now the next one, which is IT staff augmentation and offshore development agency. Now here the model is completely different because they fundamentally work in a different way, right? They work with people who are outsourcing their work. So the old model, which was we provide dedicated offshore developers at $25 to $40 an hour to augment your tech team. This was the old model. Doesn't really work. Like, I mean, I don't say that like no one is working on this model. Obviously a lot of companies are working on this model and they are still getting business, but most of them are in decline, right? I have worked with a lot of IT staff augmentation companies, a lot of recruitment firms, and most of them who are working in this model, they are not getting a lot of clients that they used to get 5 years ago or 10 years ago. That typically tells that things are changing. The whole economy is changing at a really quick pace. And this is one of the most commoditized offer in the industry. Upwork exists, right? And Total exists. You're just a noise even if you're running outbound with this offer. No one is gonna, maybe a few, but if you're running outbound with this offer, you'll get very poor results, just to be honest. A lot of people do run outbound, a lot of recruitment firms do run outbound, but with this offer, they won't go far. Now, what's the new offer? The new offer is we help funded startups ship MVP or the next product release 40% faster than their in-house timeline using our AI augmented dev team with a 30-day replacement guarantee or any developer. So you see, like, we are giving a lot of risk reversals like this. This is a risk reversal, like 30-day replacement guarantee on any developer. And you are also telling them the outcome. So this is the outcome, which is 40% faster than the in-house timeline. And what's the risk performance model here? This is the actual backend offer. So you charge the base as $8,000 per month for a 3-person dev team. That means a product manager plus 2 engineers. And for sprint performance, but the main money that you will make as a business is from sprint performance bonuses. That can be 20% of the monthly fee released only if the KPIs are hit. What's the KPI? The KPI here can be anything, but we are taking an example of this, which is the how fast you deliver results, right? So if your work was actually damn good, and you are actually delivering results and hitting the targets, then 20% of the monthly fee will be yours. And again, I agree that you're not getting this upfront which you used to get. However, the earlier model is dying, right? So you need to shift to this model. You need to accept the fact that you cannot always get upfront payment, especially in how things are getting tougher now and then. And that's why like 20% of monthly fee released only if KPIs hit would make a lot of sense even to your clients. And that's how you actually get more clients. A lot of people don't realize this. They will just think on how their position is right now. They'll see that, hey, I have 10 clients, and they assume that, hey, what if I worked with all of them on this model? In that case, I would be probably making way less revenue. But what they don't think is, if they're working on this model, then they would get 10x more clients. The number of clients that they're getting would like literally double, triple, like 5x, 10x, because your offer is damn good. So the number of clients that you have would increase significantly. That means your overall revenue will increase significantly. It might mean that your churn rate would be high. I'm not saying the success rate is 100%. It might mean that you might not hit targets for a couple of clients. That's fine. But the reason why this makes sense is the number of clients that you're getting is so high and the churn rate would be so low. Your revenue and your profit would be still way higher compared to your old model that you're doing. And that's exactly why personally I also shifted to this model, and personally why I tell everyone to shift to this model, especially when a huge portion of businesses are not shifting to this, and that's where the opportunity lies. So you also give a replacement, a 30-day free replacement if any developer is not performing. And first sprint is free as a paid pilot. So there's $0 risk to client to test the team. Again, going into details. So the pillar one is performance basis here. That means your overall, the way how you make money is tied to your performance. So 20% of monthly fee tied to hitting agreed sprint velocity targets. If the team doesn't hit 85% of planned story points in a sprint, that 20% is credited to the next invoice. Again, you're reducing risk for yourself here. You have a lot of these terms and conditions in the contract, which is protecting you from the external influences so that your client cannot exploit you. The pillar 2, which is maximize deliverables. So you can say something like, beyond just developers, we also give you dedicated project manager, weekly sprint reviews, CI/CD pipeline setup, code review process, and monthly architecture audits. And clients get an entire delivery function, not just bodies. Pillar 3, minimize time to first value. It means developers are onboarded and committing code within just 5 business days. And most agencies takes literally 3 to 6 weeks just to identify the right fit. They pre-vet developers, especially for the tech stack mentioned in the sales calls. So again, your fulfillment needs to be really strong, and you can make it very tight and streamlined using these vibe coding tools, build processes really fast. Pillar 4, which is minimize client effort. Linear plus Notion pre-configured templates. So the startup CTO can just plug the team in with no setup overhead. Async stand-ups through Loom means 0 time zone friction, even with offshore teams. So this is how you make recruitment or staff augmentation offer really, really strong and still make money on the back end. Now the offer 3, and now we are going to more from the technical industries to marketing industries. This is for B2B performance marketing agency. So what was the old offer? It was, we manage your paid advertisement campaigns on LinkedIn and Google to generate leads. And literally every agency is saying this. And there's zero skin in the game and they get paid whether your ads work or not. A lot of agencies I see, they charge a portion of the ad budget. And it doesn't really make sense. I mean, why you are getting incentive on the amount of money your client invests? I mean, I do agree that they would be getting results from the service. That's why they are investing so much. But it is an indirect effect, and you're not directly getting compensated based on how good you perform. And that's why I think that that's not a sustainable model, especially in coming like next 5 years or 10 years. The new offer and the better offer is we help B2B SaaS companies generate a minimum of 30 sales qualified leads per month through paid ads, or we work for free until we hit that number. And this risk reversal is also really, really good because it gives your prospects a feeling that, hey, this guy in their mind, we are going to hit it. It might take more time, so they are okay to work for free until they hit it. So let's say if the original timeline was decided to be like 1 or 2 months, and it might take an extra month, and they are open to do it for free. So when we talk about like, so there are two school of thoughts here, right? First risk reversal can be, or we pay you your entire money back, or second risk reversal can be, or we work for free until we hit it. A better one is the second one, because in the first one you are subconsciously giving your client a thought that this might not work, and it's not a good thing, because you definitely wanted to work, but it's just giving them a thought that this might not work, and then only they are giving me my refund. But in this way, in this second model where we are saying that we work for free until we hit that number, that means that you will make it work. There's no way this won't work. And that's the subconscious signal that your prospects or clients are getting, and that's why this is a better offer. Now the 4 pillars are performance basis. That means this is a full performance basis work, $3,000 per month plus $150 per SQL above 30. So this is how you can structure your performance. I'm not going to the entire contractual agreement here, but you can structure this in a way that is profitable, because I already gave a lot of examples earlier. And if they don't hit 30 SQLs, they waive the management fee and work until they do. Maximize deliverables. So that means you're building the entire funnel for them, not just running ads. You're doing weekly Looker Studio dashboards, bi-weekly strategy calls, clear intent-based targeting, CRM integration. So that means that you're not just projecting yourself as an ads agency, but you're looking like an entire revenue pipeline agency. You're also minimizing the time to first value. So that means quick win sprint in just 2 weeks. Most clients see first leads within 10 days, not 60. So you can say these things as well. And minimize the client effort. That means client approves creatives on Notion board. Just say yes or no in just 5 minutes, and everything else handled entirely by agency. So the client doesn't need to lift a finger. The fourth one, which is LinkedIn ghostwriting and personal branding agency. This is quite different compared to the traditional marketing agencies. The old offer was we write LinkedIn content for B2B founders and executives to grow their personal brand. And the reason why this won't work is there are 10,000 ghostwriters on LinkedIn saying the exact same thing. With AI tools and with AI writing tools, especially with Claude, literally anyone can produce content. And I know, like, remember 4 years or 5 years ago, this was pretty big problem of building brand on LinkedIn. I mean, the resistance to copyright, create these good graphics and infographics were pretty hard. That's why there was a rise of a lot of ghostwriters and LinkedIn personal branding experts out there. But now it is relatively simple. You can create a good infographic using GenSpark, and you can create a good copy, your entire LinkedIn post using Claude. You can just give it a voice speech on how exactly you want the post to be, the context and everything. And the Claude can structure the post in a good copywriting manner. And this literally replaced a lot of LinkedIn ghostwriters out there. And this is what making a lot of LinkedIn ghostwriters a commodity as well. But you don't need to become a commodity. Instead, you can adopt to a new model and a new offer, which can be, we help B2B founders generate 10 plus inbound leads per month from LinkedIn in just 90 days through a done for you content plus outbound system, or we extend our service for free until we do it. A similar model compared to the ads one. And here what you're doing, the pillar one is guaranteed 10 inbound DMs a month from qualified leads. But the reason here why we are guaranteeing it without having a risk on our end is you're just working with people who you can deliver these results for. You're not working with random people. You're working with people who are actually whose actually credibility is good enough, right? So don't take random clients. Don't give these guarantees to random clients. I'd say just work with people who you can deliver results for initially. If you're just starting out, then you can give guarantees to random clients as well. However, your terms and conditions need to be really damn strong in that case. And if you're a beginner, then it's really fine if you refund money, right? It doesn't really mean that you need to make a lot of money even if you're a beginner in from just month 1 or month 2. It's fine. You'll learn a lot of things and you learn it for free for a couple of months working on guarantees. And even though if you're refunding money, it's fine because you're getting case studies, right? You're learning about different stuffs. But this model will make you a lot of money if you're good with what you do. And if you actually adopt to this model properly and work with people who you can deliver results for, along with strong terms and conditions to protect you. So pillar 2, it is giving them deliverables. So 12 posts per month ghost written, 2 lead magnets per quarter, 500 outbound connection requests per week through HeyReach. So you're also automating the outreach and you're giving that as a deliverable. Weekly content performance review, monthly strategy call, a full LinkedIn growth system, not just a ghost writing system. Pillar 3, which is minimize time to first value. That means you're giving them 1 to 2 viral angle posts published in just week 2 of onboarding them. And most clients get their first viral post with 5,000 plus impressions within just 14 days of working with you. So you can say something like this, right? However, again, you don't need to commit something which you cannot deliver. So that's why you need to be really cautious with the people that you're working with. Pillar 4, which is minimize client effort. Founder spends 20 minutes per week on a Loom voice memo. The agency does everything and extracts all that information from that Loom voice. The founder just approves posts in a shared Notion doc. So you have minimized the client effort. They don't need to be on calls every single day. The 5th one, which is quite different compared to the other models, which were service based. This is a B2B SaaS product that we are selling, which is a low ticket. The LTV of these products are typically $500, $700, or maybe more, maybe slightly less, depending upon how good your SaaS is. And so the old offer was our platform gives you sales team. So the old offer was our platform gives your sales team access to real-time buyer intent data and company insights. So it's essentially a sales intelligence platform, which is giving you lead information, which has some kind of buying signal. Tools like Zoom Info, Apollo, and Bambora are quite big and also provide a similar positioning. And if you are also in this space, then you're literally fighting a war you cannot win with this messaging, because there are a lot of big players who have similar messaging. A good offer that you can have is a B2B, like we have B2B sales team book 3 times more meetings from the same contact database by surfacing only the account showing active buying signals right now. So your reps never waste a cold call again. So this is slightly stronger offer, because this SaaS offer actually didn't reflected the outcome, but this actually reflects the outcome. And where is the low risk here? The low risk or the risk reversal, that we give you 60-day free pilot, up to 5 seats, 500 accounts monitored completely for free. And you don't do it for everyone. You just do it for selected people that you're reaching out via outbound. And you will convert this to $400 per seat per month only after hitting 2 times meeting improvement. And you can give annual plan discount, which is around $320 per seat per month, which needs to be paid annually. So if you play with this business model, give them a lot of free stuff and make them adapted to your SaaS tool. That's a big thing, right? Like SaaS migration, similar to migrating an agency, working with other, even like migrating your existing SaaS tech stack is really time consuming and takes a lot of efforts, and a lot of people don't want to do that. But if you reduce the resistance to that migration, and if people actually use that, if you actually set everything up for them and they can use it completely for free for next 2 months and see the results, in that case, they'll use it. A lot of people will use it if they're not satisfied with the previous SaaS tool that they're using or the previous tool that they're using in general. And that will make them adapted and habitual to your platform in these 2 months. and after the trial ends, they will automatically start paying. And the guarantee here is if the tool doesn't 2x the meetings in 60 days, the pilot extends for free, no questions asked. So if it doesn't 2x, then you can just give them a free 1 month. But you don't even need to do that, especially in SaaS. There's like guarantees are not really necessary since your product is very low ticket. If your product is high ticket, for example, if you're selling $1,000 per month product or $2,000 per month product, in that case, guarantees are necessary. And if especially if it's a SaaS tool, you can have a lot of terms and condition, which will quite make it unreasonable, which will make it almost impossible for the lead, which will make it almost impossible for the client to actually get paid, which will almost make it impossible for the client to actually get another free pilot month. Now, talking about the bigger picture, why these offers are winning right now? The pattern is simple. The deliverables which you were selling before, now you're selling outcomes. You're still selling the deliverables, but that has been shifted to a secondary element in the offer. The first element is still the outcome, and the risk on client is shifting to risk on themselves. So that means instead of your client bears all the risk, you are bearing all the risk, or rather you are making it feel your client like you are bearing the risk. So your positioning is totally different. However, the risk is equal on both ends. They are also taking the same risk. You are also taking the same risk, and it is totally equal. But you are just making it feel to your clients like you are taking all the risk. And you're shifting from long time to value to quick wins in days and high client efforts to nearly zero client efforts, especially after these vibe coding tools and all those agentic workflow tools. By the way, if you're not using either of those tools, I do have a course. I do teach all those Claude code and cursor and how to use it to build really good agentic workflows. Do watch that. That will give you a lot of value on how to actually use it, especially in outbound use case. And as I mentioned, the reality is with vibe coding tools, AI agents, and automation platforms, the doing part, or rather say the deliverables part, is becoming cheaper and faster every single month. And this is like really exponential growth. And what will never be commoditized would be the judgment. So the judgment to know what to build, the expertise to hit specific business KPIs, and the accountability to guarantee the outcome. This is the most important out of all. As of now, AI cannot replace the accountability. AI can just do a task if you can give it. However, it cannot take the ownership of the actual result that that task will give. So that's the only thing that AI is not able to solve right now, which you will solve by using AI and using your expertise. And this will be your mode. Build it there and price it there. And this is how you can also charge way more compared to what you were before, because you're working on performance now. And just being straight up, the business is still charging by hours or selling deliverable based retainers without any guarantees. They're already declining, and a lot of them, they don't even know it yet, but they will eventually realize. So I hope you like this video. If you actually want to work with me on building your offer and entire high level business model and implement it, actually get results, build the entire revenue engine right from marketing, getting a cold lead to nurture them, build all the content assets, all those automation workflows, and actually book appointment with pre-sold leads, and you want to automate everything, then book a call with me and I can help you to navigate how you can do it in a quick half an hour call. And if you want to just learn how to build all of this, and if you still haven't taken my outbound course, then check out the description. You will see my course there. You can just take a look. If you think that it can provide any value, you can just take it.